everyone, it's just Michelle returning today with a new video. In my last video I created these little traveller's notebooks and I want to make a cover for them all to go in. So I've watched a few videos on YouTube and there is about 1,000 different ways that you can create an outside. I have a ton of fabric and I really want to use what I already have. So I saw one lady that used a thinner cardboard. This is actually more like a heavy paper rather than a cardboard. It's just from a mailer. That's all it is. It's just it had clothes in it. So I've just cut off the back piece. I really don't want to go and buy anything. I just want to use something that I already have at home. I have heaps of fabric and I thought this could be a possible solution. So this is very trial and error. I've never created one like this before. I have made one with a placemat. I'll show you that one. That one's just here. That I created a little while ago. So this is just a placemat. There's actually another traveller's notebook that goes into it. These are perfect, but these are really hard to find. And in the colours that you really want them. So I had to improvise this time. So if you can find these are the simplest, easiest way to do a cover for your traveller's notebook, which are perfect for this kind of thing. Actually, it's actually not even sitting in there, but that is absolutely perfect. But to try and find things like this is becoming harder and harder. So I have to improvise this time. So I am going to just use this piece of cardboard that has already had a bend in it. So I thought that was perfect. So all I have done, yeah, that's good. And we're just going to bulk it out. So I've just cut the piece out and I started cutting it and then I went, I probably should film this. Just to take you on the journey that I'm going on to see if this will work. So I'm aiming this will be the cover for my Traveller's Notebooks for my 2026 challenge. All I have done is measured, I think I went 21. I think I went 24 on one side and only 23 on the other. Yeah, just to make it fit a bit better. Because the bulk is sort of going to be across the middle, so I think I went wider on this way and less on this way, because technically it's 21 by 22 for each piece, but I am going to use some bits to bulk this bit of card paper. Like it's not super thick, but it's got a bit of bend in it. I couldn't use regular cardboard because it would have a bend, especially the stuff that I use for my journals. That's not going to work. So this is my thinking in here. That will be good, I think. So what I'm going to do next is I had a heap of red felt that I'm going to use to bulk it out a little bit, sort of like interfacing kind of thing to make it a bit, you know, well, you know, the patty stuff, I can't even remember what that's called, just to make it a bit thicker, a bit more pliable, I think is the way to go. And then I have some red and white spotty fabric that I'm going to have to iron before we put on this, to make the cover, and then we'll put the holes in and everything for to put in the elastics. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm going with here. So we'll see how this turns out, huh? So first of all, okay, absolutely tons of this stuff. So I thought what I might do to begin with, you're not going to see this, so I think I am just going to overlap slightly. I think is the way to go. I'm just going to cut this a little bit bigger. Oops. Probably should pin this in so that I've got the right size, but we'll get the idea. As long as it's bigger than what it should be, it should work. So, okay, I think that should be fine. Just just to create a bit of a buffer. I think that will be okay. All right. Next, what I'm going to do is to glue this down. So bear with me while I grab some glue. Okay, so I am going to try and glue this onto here. I usually just use PVA. That's all I am going to use and be done with it, I think. Let's see how this goes. I used to have a fabric glue that I used to use all the time, which was fantastic, but I don't have any of that anymore. I've obviously used it up on some in different projects and things like that. So I'm just going to go with some PVA on here and we'll see how we go. And let a bit of this dry, I think is the best way to go. So all I am doing is spreading it far and wide all over to see if I can get this felt to stick. I'm sure there is a better way, but as I said, I am improvising with all of the things that I already have at home because I don't really want to go out. And I think if we did that a bit more and utilised a bit more of what we already have, we could probably surprise ourselves with what we could create. Especially this bit of junky post pack. I was actually going to use it in my journal because it had a funny, cool pattern on it with all these things with the chipboardy bits. But I thought, oh, you know what? It will work in this project quite well. So improvise, nothing like improvising. I think you'd be surprised what you could create just by using things that are going to go in the bin otherwise. It's an interesting world. I think if we recycled more, you'd be surprised what you could create. Just need a bit of imagination. All right, that is looking pretty good. Just going to move that out of the way for a sec. Oh. All right, let's stick this down. Oh, I think it's the other way. We went that way. Yeah, that's better. All right, stick that down. Oh yeah, the card feels quite wet. This might need a little bit of drying time, I think, so that this sticks quite well. That's actually worked really well. Stuck quite well. Look out. Surprised even myself. Beautiful. I thought I'll see how it goes, whether I need to put another piece on the top of here. I don't really want to though. I think that will be okay, just that way. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. And then cover this part in fabric and we'll see how we go. All right, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit because that's pretty damp. So I'll let it dry for a little bit and then I'll be right back. Okay, it's still a little bit damp, but it's not too bad. So it's still drying a little bit. What I'm going to do is go and cut all the edges of this because we don't need this to overhang. So that's all I'm doing at the moment. Just cutting this bit back to the edge because we're going to cover it with some fabric. Oops. Okay. Actually stuck really well. Happy with how that's come together, except I've left a bit there. Don't need that bit. Beautiful. Okay. So I have cut a piece of the dotty fabric and gone and ironed it, so it's a bit neater. So this is going to go face down this way, I think. It's the best way to go. And then I'm just going to fold up and stick all this down. So thinking how I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to line the inside with a different piece of paper. So do I just double-sided tape it, stick it down that way, or do I glue it? I think the gluing, not necessarily will make a big mess, will it? That could work. All right, let's do the gluing, and then I will let it all dry properly. See, I've still got a few little ripples, so it's not quite dry just yet, but it is definitely getting there. Okay, I've just got a paintbrush. I'm just going to use this again to do the gluing down. All right, what I'm going to do is cut a bit of a corner off each of these so that we don't create bulk on the sides. That's my aim here. Let's do that. Okay, let's dip some more of this in, and I'm just going to paint some of these edges, I think. Let's do one side at a time. Still not sure how this is all going to turn out, but it's a work in progress, right? Okay, so I'm going to glue this bit down first. At least it will be nice and sturdy, right? Where the double-sided tape possibly could come off. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think I'll do this side first and then do the other side. I think it's going to need a bit of drying time. From what I can see here. I haven't gone too crazy with the, now I say that, that's a big chunk of glue. I haven't gone too crazy. Just need a bit more through here, I think. I'll pull this glue down. Okay. That to the side. Okay. That's pretty good. Yep, looking pretty good on the other side too. Who knew? Just a good old mailer was gonna come in such handy. Just trying to spread this glue out a little bit so it works a little bit better. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, let's stick this piece down. I may need to just glue a little bit in the corner there and in the corner here, just to make that a bit neater. That's better. That's better. That looks much tidier. Beautiful. I'm just going to smooth all that down so it's nice and neat. Not got a crease in there. Nope, not anymore. That's pretty good. I like that. Coming together pretty well, actually. Oh, too much glue once again. I'm just going to put that right into the corner because this dries clear anyway, so it's not going to stay white. Oh, that's a lot of glue. Okay, put that to the side. Right, now I'm going to fold these in a bit better, I think. A little bit that way, and then go. Not getting that right at all. I feel like it needs to turn in. You know what? I'm going to turn it this way. That might be better. Okay, I feel like I should have cut that a bit closer, but it is what it is. Yep, that's okay. I'm just gonna, this one I've gone a bit tight in the corner, so let's go this way. I'm just going to fold that in just a little teeny tiny bit. and then go. You're not really going to see this anyway, so okay, there's a heads up if you're doing this to cut it a bit closer to the cardboard, I think is the better way to go. All right, looking good. It's actually quite sturdy. It's more sturdy than I thought it was going to be. That's good. All right, so now my next thing to do would be, I shall let it dry of course, is we don't need a ribbon through the middle of this because I'm going to put elastic, so the elastic will go over the top, so I don't need to worry about that so much. So I just need to come up with a plan to put in here. I was just going to use cardstock. I think that could work, or I could do some white fabric, although you might see a little bit more of this as it dries. So I think I'm going to go cardstock. I'm going to go and grab some. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my cardstock. It's just American Crafts cardstock. So all I'm going to do is just lightly sit it on here and get a bit of a pencil mark where we want it to sit. About there somewhere. Okay, I'm going to cut that. Out there. Oops, I lost my little car. There we go. And we need it to this size as well. Actually, just as easy to do it this way. Pop that in the bottom and we're going to come down. Okay, now that should be the right size for the inside here. While we are gluing, I may as well, oops, goes that way. Perfect, looking good. All right, I might just use some more of this glue, and then I am going to sit it aside for a little while to dry because it really needs to dry before I keep going, start putting holes in things. So yeah, that's what I am doing at the moment. I'm just going to put a heap of glue around, especially around these fabricy corners, just so that it all sticks nicely. Yeah, so you're doing a project in 2026 and need to make a little journal or a cover or whatever you need for it. This is something a bit different for me. I previously made this very differently, so but nothing like improvising. A good old improvise is always good. Yeah, just goes to show that you can use just what you've got at home to create something new, something that was destined for the bin. Definitely. All right, I'm just going to spread a bit of this all over the place. A bit thinner though, so it doesn't get too many bumpy lumps on it. Very exciting watching me spread glue. But then I will let it dry properly and I'll come back probably tomorrow and finish the rest of it off. Just want to get it all in so that it's ready to go. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now we are going this direction. Okay, let's pop this in place so it all dries together. That is looking pretty good. There we go. Yeah, that is looking pretty good. I don't want to bend it yet, not until it's dried properly. But yeah, it's looking all right. All from a simple little piece of cardstock and from a mailer. There you go. All right, I'm going to let that dry and I'll be back a bit shortly to finish it off. Okay, I left it to dry. The cardstock did not go well. It didn't really bend in the middle. So I decided to pull that out, and I've just put some red felt and stuck that down, and it's gone much, much better. So slight change of plans there with creating the insert in here, which is fine. You know, you have to improvise sometimes if something's not working. So what I've gone and done is mark some holes so that I can thread my elastic through to create the little strings that holds your book together. So it holds all your traveler's notebooks in. That's the idea. So that's what I'm going with at the moment. So I will just grab my crocodile, which doesn't get a whole lot of use these days, but in this regard it does. So I am going to line this up to go through. So I'm not going to use eyelets. Well, not to begin with. I'm going to see how it goes. I think that's the best way to go. I have marked my lines. I started out with 2 centimetres and then thought, that's too far apart. So I'm just going with a centimetre in between, which is just off the centre of this. So I think that should work okay. Bit of trial and error, this one. I haven't actually made a cover quite like this, so we shall see how we go. Just lining up. Yeah, about there, I reckon. Oh, this is tough. Whoa, got it. We got through. Oh, it gives a little bit of a fray on the other side. I may need eyelets on this. Let's see, but it does go through a few different layers, so there is a bit of work in there. Right, let's work out where the other one is. Hang on, I'm going to have to pop that down a little bit. I think it's the best way to go. Yeah, no, that's the best way to go. Alright, I'm going to do it down on the table, I think. Okay, that is going to be a bit of fun, I think. Won't be one sec. Okay, that was a bit of trial and error, but we got there. I got the holes all through. They're not the neatest on this side, so I think I am going to have to get some eyelets just to make it a little bit tidier, I think. But that's for another day. So what I'm going to do now is use some elastic. This is just round elastic. And I'm going to use that to make my strings in my journal. I think that's the best way to go. So, all right, let's do this. So we're going to start at the top. Actually, let's start at the top. Probably need to cut my elastic a little bit shorter. I think this is a couple of meters. But what I'm going to do is put this through. I don't want to lose too much. So we're going to put this one is going to tie and be in the bottom part. That's pretty much the way to go. I think I'm going to have to cut this. It's just too long. Let's go about half. All right. So then we feed it back through this one, through here. Oop, oop, oop. That's it. Pull it through. Then we're going to go back through this, in and out, in and out, back this direction. That's it. So you can see it on the outsides. Yes, you can. All right, so then we're going to go back through again. So that's created 2 strings, but I have 4 books. So we're going to go again and create another 2 strings so that all of the books have their own string. I think that's the best way to do this. And we go back through again. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get eyelets to tidy this part up, I think. Yes. Okay, so then that's going to create my 4 strings, but I need them a little bit firmer, I think. I think that's the best way to go. Let's pull this one. That should pull some of that tight. That'll pull that tight. I want them firm enough that they're going to sit in okay. That is the aim, anyway. Yes. Put that in. So that holds everything in place. Cool. Yes, that's good. All right, so we need to pull that a little bit tighter. We need to put this through, tie a knot through here, keeping it firm enough that the strings are firm enough. Ooh, why is that one loose? That one should not be loose. Hang on, let's untie that for a sec. Where's that one? That's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Tie the knot. It's all about tension in these things, I think, to hold things in a bit neater, a bit tidier. Oh, gosh, how hard is it to tie knots? Because I'm tying it the wrong direction, I think. Oh, now that's through too many times. Go this way. That's better. What happens when you have too much in your way? It becomes a problem. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's clip this off. So there's our strings for they're done. So then what we want to do is create one here that goes through here that's going to hold it all together. So this could be a fun part. So we want to put one through there. Actually, it's going to go the other direction, isn't it? We've got to work out what the tension is for it. So if we put that through, that's going to be heaps tighter. Oh, oh, oh. Let's pop this through one way and then go back the other way. So it's going to sit nice and neatly in here. It actually goes the other way. Now that I've thought about that. The loop has to be on the other side and the knot will be on this side. Right, that's better. Okay, so let's work out how tight we need this. We need it firm but not too firm because it's going to get stacked out. Give it a bit of a fold. That might sit a bit better then. That's not bad. Probably about there somewhere. Okay, let's pull that bit off. Let's tie a bit of a knot through here. I'm just going to do a loose-ish knot to check that that's the right. Yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, or maybe a tiny bit tighter. Teeny tiny bit tighter. So I'll make it a little, the loop a bit smaller. Oh my gosh. Did a good job of that, didn't I? Undo the knot. Knot, undone. That's it. Okay. Let's get this a tiny bit more. Okay, put in a little bit more. Yes, that's better. Beautiful. All right, happy with that. So now I can cut this off, and that creates my little wallet. Beautiful, looking good. So now I can go and put all of my books in the little folder. There's one. There's number 2. One will go next in here. Beautiful. That's 2 done. I'll go here. 3. Oh, actually, maybe 3 needs to be on the other one. It'll sit a bit neater. 3 and 4 on the last one. There we go. Look at that. Just going to hold all of my traveler's notebooks in my little holder. How cute is that? Yes, I think I definitely need some eyelets for these. So I don't have any at the moment, so I will get some and yeah, add to my little journal here. So it came out pretty cute. So now it's time to decorate away. There's one other thing. I've got a slight, no, it's not too bad. It's pretty good, honestly, for a makeshift little cover. It hasn't turned out too bad. So, and it's going to get packed full. So that goes to show you probably need to make this side a bit longer to take the thickness, if you know what I mean. That's something to learn for next time. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with my little journal cover that I'm going to use for my 2026 challenge. So now it's time to get decorating and see what I can create in it. I will show little snippets as I go along, I think. Not every week, but from time to time, just to see how it's progressing. So thanks for joining me today. I've enjoyed putting this together. It's a bit different to my norm. So watched a few YouTube videos on how to put lots of things together, how different people go about it. So yeah, lots of fun. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. See you in the next video. Bye.